Welcome back. If you guys have watched me for the last 6 years, you know my two favorite topics in the world are dating and basketball. And so today is an absolute treat. He is a former national champion at UNC. He is a NBA vet, and he is one of the co-hosts on Gills Arena. Please welcome Rashad Mccants. Dr. Rashad McCuse.
Doctor. Clinical, surgical, psychological. Appreciate you.
Awesome, man. When Rolo told me about this, I was like, yo, because so Rolo's not a huge NBA guy, but when he's asking me, because I was out of town the first time you were here, he goes, do you want to talk to Rashad McCants? I'm like, this must be a mistake. I don't understand how. Why is Rolo telling me about? It's like Rolo asking. Is Rolo telling me he's gonna interview rappers? I'm like, I'm like, that's very different. So how did you? So one of the things I really do enjoy, because you have one of my dream jobs, which is sitting around with my friends talking about basketball. That's incredible, right?
For sure.
Great stuff to do. There's a lot of you guys go back and forth. Like when you and like Kenyon Martin or you and Gil go at it, or Patrick Beverley or whoever. And you don't make it personal,
right?
But it's still really, really entertaining to watch. Can you talk about that format? Because it does feel like a lot of times they do this with Adam Sosnick on Saucecast. They make him the heel, right? He's there specifically to be the catalyst for the really, really heated conversation. Can you talk about that whole role?
Yeah, man. I believe the contrarian is very important in all conversations. I think rolling off of having your standard public opinions, and then you got your unfiltered takes, and then you got the status quo, and then you got people who go against it. I've always been a guy who likes to stir the pot. I like to see people rattled. I like to see them out of their element and uncomfortable, but I also like to get information out of it. I like to challenge people to better themselves with their takes and with the information that they're given. Our format specifically comes from a barbershop theme, but also like a first take and analytical perspectives. So we can still talk hoop, but we can still challenge each other in debate form. And I think that's the best part about it, because if you do want to get personal, it goes back to locker room barbershop, right? Where the guy across the room who's been sitting in the barbershop for 3 hours doesn't plan on getting a haircut, but loves the conversation.
Yeah.
Because everything we're talking about is up his alley. But then there's a guy who comes in, he gets in the chair, and he's just listening. He's like, gives a couple statements, and everybody goes crazy. And they're like, well, who the f is this guy? And he just gets up and walks out, and the whole room is just on fire. So I love those dynamics, and it created an ecosystem for us that everybody else has to piggyback on, because the energy is real. But we don't take it personal off the camera. So we can literally go home, high five, meet up for golf later.
Sometimes I think you and Kenyon are about to fight.
Kenyon, I had too much respect for him. Like I consider him like a big brother, because when I was coming up, he was at Cincinnati and I looked up to him. It was only a few guys that actually wanted to grab that intensity from it. It was him and Kevin Garnett. And being able to be on his team in the Big Three. First year Big Three, we went undefeated, won the chip. I was the MVP. He picked me #1 pick. So I got a whole bunch of #1s based on what he thought I was. And it was an honor for me to be a part of that with somebody that I looked up to. So now I get to sit next to him and talk hoop and rile him up, trigger him a lot, and get the edge. And I love that.
Let's talk about two really controversial takes you have. One of them, you don't think Greg Popovich is a great coach. Where does that come from?
I retracted that statement too. I actually said that it came from my expectations of Pop.
Got it.
And it wasn't, oh, he's not a great coach. It was stemming from after Tim Duncan and Manu and Tony Parker retired. You got Kawhi Leonard, Keldon Johnson, Vassell, and the kid that's at New Orleans right now. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but these were years in which Pop struggled. Because he didn't have a centerpiece and he couldn't redefine the system that created dynasties. And so within that time frame, you've seen that he struggled to connect with younger players that didn't understand what he wanted to do.
He's old school Air Force. Like he's old school military. I can definitely see that.
So sometimes you have to take a different approach when you want to get through to the younger kids that doesn't understand or doesn't have the talent in which those guys had. You're talking about 2 European guys and a guy who went 4 years of college, National Player of the Year twice, #1 pick. you're not going to have that same rapport. So for me, I have an expectation for coaches who say they're great coaches. If you're a great coach, you can get through to any player. And not only can you get through to them, you make them better and help them understand a winning culture that you have. And they lost in those 6 years. So I held him to a standard. And that original take was to piss everybody off because I knew it would. But to actually think about how much I was pissing people off and say, all right, look, it was my expectations of him that made me say that. Not necessarily that statement is true. It's that I hold him to a higher standard.
For sure.
Of tanking or losing seasons and you just won 5 championships. It's not acceptable.
Magic Johnson, not a top 5 point guard.
Not a top 5 point guard, Magic. I don't consider Magic a point guard at all.
Okay.
Or Steph Curry.
Still a great player. No, I'm with you on the Steph Curry thing for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Magic, 6'9". There were other guys who could have played that position, but it came to advantages. We have an advantage with you playing this position. You fast, you can pass, and we have Big Cap. We have James Worthy. We have Byron Scott, Michael Cooper, all of these guys who can play. It was an advantage for him.
And often he would not guard the one on the other team. Most of the time he wouldn't. Yeah.
I mean, how could he?
Yeah.
He was all defense, but it was an advantage for the other team.
Yeah.
That we're small, you're big, you got to do your thing. So a lot of those things come from my perspective of how I view the game. And not a lot of people view the game the way that I view the game because I'm a true student of the game. So I don't look at the popular take as something that's kumbaya. Like everybody come on board and join the take. I want you to analyze it. Think about it. Why would he be top 5 based on accolades and accomplishments and not skill sets and the position that he plays? And if you play the position, you should embrace what that position entails. John Stockton, Jason Kidd, Chris Paul, all the traditional point guards, Andre Millers. These are guys who stats not going to blow Steve Nash. Stats not going to blow you away, but they played the position. So you can't say he didn't play the position well. I just don't consider him a point guard.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. One thing, obviously, you're really known for is you were probably the first famous boyfriend that Khloe Kardashian had.
All right, now we're on.
Now
We're going to ask you about Dwight Howard, but no, let's go on Khloe Kardashian.
Yeah. So first off, you mentioned before about it being a mistake. Do you feel what was the relationship just inside? Forget what was going on outside. I understand it because you're in Minnesota, right? This is the year that after Garnett leaves.
Yep.
Right. And so now you're stepping up. How did you meet her? And then what was the relationship like with her just individually? And then what happened outside of that?
I met her at this club in L.A. called Ledoux. A lot of the L.A. people will understand. Yeah, a long time ago. It was a very good vibe.
Yeah.
She was with Reggie Bush. This was 2009.
Yes.
I hadn't actually met Reggie before, but we were 2005 class, me, him, Adrian Peterson, all that kind of stuff. So when I actually met him, it was kind of like, yo, what's up? Surprised that he knew me, and he introduced me to her. And she was cool. She was funny. She was straight to the point, She wasn't really my type, but I thought that she still had this cute vibe because she was straightforward. She could cuss you out, cuss one of my boys out while we were there. And I was like, okay, I like that. Took her number down, took her to lunch the next day. And lo and behold, when you do something like that with a Kardashian or anybody in Hollywood that's trying to make a name for themselves, TMZ shows up.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but jumped out the bushes and all kinds of shit. Next thing you know, we're dating after 24 hours. So that was something I wasn't really used to.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of days later, we went to Mr. Child's and the same type of thing kind of ensued. And I started to learn that she wanted to get over this perception that she was a lesbian because a lot of the fan base didn't see her with guys and she wasn't dating anybody. And she wanted to get over that perception that the fans thought she liked girls. And I was the first guy that came to the forefront to take her out on a date, treat her nice, tell her she was pretty and stuff like that. So just kind of felt that way. It wasn't never truly for me on my standpoint. It wasn't anything real until even when she offered me the whole Hollywood
experience.
we can do this. You should come here and be on camera and sign these papers, that kind of thing. So it became a contract. It became this is an agreement. This this is an assignment for me, and I let her know too. Like I got a lot of business. Like, I'm not about to sit around and treat you like some type of like girlfriend. Like this is not something I want because I'm in the peak of my sexual marketplace. So it was understood because she wanted something specific and I wanted something specific. So it just went down like that.
And then what happens in Minnesota? You mentioned things happen. Do you think this had some effect on the certain front office executive there who had some issues? I don't know if you can talk about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, during that time, you talk about Kobe Bryant, Chris Webber. Chris Webber was dating Tyra Banks, I believe. Yeah. Kobe, Brandy, maybe. These guys wasn't really publicly dating superstars or anybody in the public realm. I was pretty much the guy outside of Reggie that came in and was like, all right, you're dating somebody that's on TV, so on and so forth. But when the show started to take off, that's when the friction started happening with everyone else because I was in Cosmopolitan. I was in...
Just for people who don't know, you were on Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yeah, a couple different episodes. Yeah. So once people started seeing it, it was like, oh, shit, who is he? Who does he think he is? Type shit, right? Like it was my choice, right? And I was just going with the flow at the time because I didn't really know who she was. I wanted her sister. And I thought I could get Kim from Reggie. And that's just the bravado that I had at that age. Like, I'm like, yeah, Reggie, you cool, but I'm cooler. Like, and it was something that was like, I just want to see what this is like, see what it's about. And one thing went to another. And when you're in Minnesota, it's a small market. Sure. Right? You're talking about a small market team. They don't know a lot of outside of Jimmy Jam and Kevin Garnett. It's Target. Yeah. So me bringing her to the games, me being on Us Weekly and Media Takeout and all of these different blog posts and all these places, it gave me the attention that was not really warranted for a small market team. And I wasn't a contract player. I was still in my rookie deal. I'm looking for my big contract. So this was all conflict of interest, especially based on front office where they don't think that I'm being serious. And I was doing music. I was trying to start my own companies and all of these different things. So it became a distraction. Immediately, I was getting referees saying in the game. And I remember one instance, Tracy McGrady was at the game, and he seen her in the stands. And he looked around, and he was like, who the hell is the little Kardashian girl here with? And I said, I don't know. And he looked at our team, and he looked down the bench. He looked on the floor. He said, man, she here with you, man. You motherfuckers ugly, man. Y'all ugly, man. She here with you. I said, man, what you talking about? So it became that kind of thing where the coaches and the players developed a little bit of animosity due to the fact that they thought I was being a prima donna now based on the attention I was getting. But I was already a prima donna before that. So it didn't really matter. But I just wanted to win and play ball. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that there was going to be that much of a distraction, and it was. So,
well, no one could have known because what they became, no one knew it would be that big. Right. Like the idea of one human having 300 million Instagram followers, and I'm talking about Kendall, Kylie, I'm talking about Kim, Khloe, whatever. The idea of anyone in the world becoming that famous, you're talking to a girl in Los Angeles who's more famous than Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Who's more famous than LeBron. Yeah. That is madness. But that concept doesn't exist, and so you didn't know, and that nobody else possibly could have known either.
This is like what, 2009?
Yep, 2009.
Yeah. So what did you have any? Can we say Kevin McHale? Is that fine? Okay, cool. Did you have any conversations with him where, he talked about this? Yeah.
One conversation. Specifically. And that was probably the last true conversation that I had, and it wasn't a good one. That conversation led to me not playing for 14 straight games, DNPs, based on him getting calls. I'm hearing you dating this girl on TV, Kardashian. He's old school. Country.
He's about as old school as you can get.
Yeah. About as old Boston old school. Yes. Mountains in Minnesota old school. And he approached me in the shoot around one time. Probably this was New Year's, so this had to be January 6th or 4th. And I had just spent New Year's Eve with her and her family here in Vegas. They came down here to Vegas and wanted to do a dinner, invited me, did the red carpet and backdrop, all that kind of stuff, took pictures. But I flew home right after the dinner. So I was back in Minnesota by 1 o'clock. None of them knew that, but they just knew the headlines.
Yes.
So he approached me with, man, I'm hearing you're doing this and dating this and you're in Vegas and all that. Maybe you should get some rest. And I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Is that why I only played 7 minutes last night? And that was a conflict. And he's like, oh, whatever, brother. And I'm like, whatever. That whatever was the last of my career.
Wow.
For sure.
You're ending it with her then. What happened?
My agent, Jeff Schwartz, told me that I needed to end it with her. Jeff Schwartz was Lamar Odom's agent. Paul Pierce, Jason Kidd, he's the biggest agent in the NBA.
Well, that's kind of ironic because then she starts dating.
The story gets nasty.
So she ends up dating Lamar Odom. Yeah.
Which is why he
Who
told me.
makes you look like a choir boy. Yeah.
He told me to not date her so that Lamar could.
Madness.
And he was in the wedding.
Incredible.
And then I fired him.
Oh, after that.
That's right.
So you felt like that was a betrayal.
Oh, 100%. Because when I was going through my 14 DMPs, I'm telling him to try to figure out why. Talk to the Kevin or whoever's in the front office. Get me a trade. Let's do something. This is unbelievable. This is my contract year. I'm supposed to be looking for. He told me he can get me 63 based on what I was doing, the potential I had.
Yeah.
$63 million.
Over 4 years?
Over 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
I was the Al Jefferson phase at that time, but Tyson Chandler had just gotten $60 million with way lower stats and all that kind of stuff. So we was in the ecosystem of knowing that he had leverage with the players that he had. And I'm knowing that if Marco Yarish can get $42 million, 42 is going to be my low point.
Yeah.
I'm going to strive for that. And if we go higher, we'll go higher. But he couldn't get a trade. He couldn't find answers. And then summer comes and he's like, maybe you should, break up with her and do this. But this is at the time I got traded to Sacramento.
Yeah.
So I get to Sacramento and me and her, we stop and I push her to the side like, look, we can't do this no more. We can be friends. And the moment that, I think it was like 2 weeks after that, she's engaged to Lamar.
2 weeks after that?
Damn.
Engaged.
That's wild.
Bro. And then they're getting married a month later. So I was in LA, landing in LA. Somebody called me like, are you watching? I'm like, watching what? So then there was a video of them slandering my name to kind of push the narrative for her to be like, oh, you're a womanizer. You cheated on her. You did this. And this is where her transition is going to
Lamar
be.
Odom was her transition.
And at the time, Lamar was a big deal in LA. Kobe's guy, Lakers, championship. And he was looking for someone. Like the narrative then was Lamar was looking for someone to wife up for the storyline and the nostalgia of him being a guy that has somebody in the public light. And she matched it. So they had the Khloe Lamar show, all that. That was my show. We had already filmed the pilot for it. I said no.
Yeah, I think it takes maybe it's impossible. Maybe there is no way to make a relationship like that work, or it takes some dude who's just incredibly built for it. I just think it's difficult because you have an NBA career that comes before your relationship with her, I would assume.
Yeah.
And so that makes it kind of difficult. Whereas with Lamar, like it ended up badly. He found someone at the Bunny Ranch while he was doing a bunch of drugs and almost killed himself.
It's not difficult at all. You just got to be a very good actor.
Okay.
And I was a very good actor. I just didn't want the role. I didn't like it. I didn't like the script. I didn't like my lines. I said, no, I don't like this. This is not good. Now looking back, I feel like I should have took the role because I would have been in a better position with a couple babies and a couple $100 million and, not having to deal with all that stuff. But then again, I always say I did do the right thing because the right thing is to sit back and observe what he did and what Tristan did. And these guys are not in the best light perceptionally in society based on that road that they took. And I feel like I reference it always to get out. I got out.
So, my whole thing is if she's even has the capacity to get engaged to someone else 2 weeks later, then there's something that's not someone you can have a functional relationship with. And I'd be asking that question if I was Lamar Odom, right? It's like when a woman cheats on her man for you, it might feel good, but you have to remember how the acquisition came, right? It wasn't via trade; it was free agency, and she, there was some tampering involved. So it's like you got to always remember that, right? And so I think that would make things kind of difficult. And I just don't know how you'd have a functional relationship in a situation like that.
Because it's never supposed to be functional. That's not what we signed up for.
Right.
That's not what Lamar signed up for. He just publicly just came out, said that, we agreed to this situation. And that was the same thing. And I learned that that's what Hollywood is all about. Situationships. Does it make sense for the tabloids? Does it make sense for promotions and everything we got going on?
So it's a reality TV.
100%.
That's all. Yeah, you're just playing a role.
You're playing a role.
I just don't, like, how are they all like that? That's the question for me. Do you understand? Like, I guess generally, if you have like 5 children and one of them has a mental disorder, they don't all 5 have it.
Right.
But yet they all seem to have this craving to date men. And then, like, the idea was like it was Kylie and Travis Scott, and then like years later, Travis Scott is like buying prostitutes in Brazil, and it's like, this is who you keep choosing, and it's so obvious. Your type is just so obvious, and then now you're on Call Her Daddy complaining about men, and I'm like, you don't give 99.9% of men a chance,
right? And
you keep ending up in this situation, and I'm just so like, how is it Courtney and Khloe and Kim and Kylie and like, how are all of them like this? That's the only thing that's crazy to me.
I think it's storyline.
Yeah.
Keep It Up with the Joneses. Demi Moore, David Duchovny. Go back and watch that if you haven't seen it. When you Keeping Up with the Joneses, every single character has their own script to follow. Kylie, Khloe, Kim, Courtney all have a script, and so does Chris. They all have a part to play within the ecosystem of making the money. And when the script goes different, you got to see who's shaking in their boots, who's switching up. And the one person who's never switched up is Courtney, because her script is probably the lowest one on the whole thing. She's the one that's been the mother. She loves relationships. She's probably 2 or 3 of them within the whole Truman Show ecosystem that they live in, right? And then you look at Kim, and you look at Khloe, Kylie, and what's the other one that's dating Devin Booker?
It's Kendall.
Kendall.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody would look at it like, oh, it's supposed to be this traditional thing, and they should look at this kind of guy if they want this. It's never, never traditional.
Wasn't Devin Booker playing on the Suns when that Selena Powell thing happened, where she blink this out, where she sucked 7? Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Like, I always imagine, like, I tell my friends, like, imagine Devin Booker looking over at, was it Dario Saric, and being like, you both have your dick out. It was like, what in the world? Like, when I heard the story, it wasn't even like, I completely believed that she would do it. She's like, one of the trainers was having sex with her, and then these guys walk in, and I'm just, and the whole thing is because
she's in jail. She's in jail right now.
She stream sniped somebody.
No, she got out. She was just on with Charleston.
Yeah. Oh, was she? Yeah. Michael
Yeah.
Porter Jr. She screamed, and she doxed him. But I'm just like, I'm listening to that story, and I'm like, that is insane to me. Like, why would you ever, if you're a man, why would you ever? And the thing is, you could do the math, because she talked about, I went to Dre's, and it was during Summer League, and you knew like exactly who was on the squad at that point. And I'm like, this is what you want? And by the way, I don't mean to call him out, but I was with Devin Booker at Dan Bilzerian's parties. Like, this guy, this is who you choose, and then complain about men who aren't faithful.
I don't think it's a complaint thing, man. Like I said, I think everybody has what they like. And then there's a traditional side of what everybody wants to like from you, like what they expect you to be doing. And they don't live, it's Hollywood. They don't live in the lens of a traditional format. Everything is dysfunctional.
Let me ask you something. Do you think there's a part of this, because we were talking about female competition off the air. Do you think a part of this is, I can get this man who's, because let's transition to Clay and Megan Thee Stallion.
Okay.
The whole reason why I think so many women are angry, DJ Academics actually did a post on this, and I have to say I agree, is because these women thought she is supposed to get her happily ever after being, again, who she portrays herself online is promiscuous. It is. I don't know what her sexual history is, but I know that's who the role she's playing on her music videos. Right. And then she thought she was going to get her happily ever after, and there was a bunch of women who admire her, who are going through a phase where they're sleeping with a bunch of bad boys, and they're like, Meg, she gets her happily ever after, so I'll get my Russell Wilson. I'll get, Future didn't have to wait for sex, but Russell Wilson had to wait for sex.
Yes.
I'm gonna get my Russell Wilson, and this is gonna be the situation. And then when it didn't happen, it wasn't just like the betrayal, because I'll be honest with you, I don't know that he cheated. She said he cheated. What he said to her was, I don't want to be monogamous. I've not seen any evidence that he actually cheated. I think she intuited that he cheated because he said that to her. And my whole thing is, when you talk about the competition, it's her and it's a situation with like Cardi B,
Yes.
where it's, I am going to tame these men. I'm going to show you that I can be the full definition. Because it's not that Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion portrayed themselves as promiscuous. When you look up the word promiscuous, it's their music video together.
Yes.
Like literally, they are the ultimate 2026 embodiment of that idea.
Yeah.
You can't go any further. Bonnie Blue doesn't go as far into this as these two do. And then from then, it's like at the end, then you want the happily ever after,
Right.
and all these women are cheering for you to get it because they're sort of looking up to you in this situation, and then they don't get it, and when that whole idea is crushed, then you hate the man. How about not? Have you ever seen a video of all the guys in the Vikings saying which one of the guys in this locker room would most likely steal your girl?
Yes.
And
Yes.
every single guy,
Diggs.
every single guy said
Diggs.
Stephon Diggs.
Yes.
And you chose, and again, I'm not blaming Stephon Diggs for this, but you chose him, and then you feel the gall to complain about it, and then turn your whole fan base against him.
Well, you got to look at the phase of that particular interaction, right?
Yeah.
Offset was her breadwinner.
Yes.
When it comes to the perception of, I went through this phase.
Yes.
This guy came and gave me a ring. How did he and why did he give me a ring? Well, this wet. I don't cook. I don't clean.
Mhm.
This is going to get you a ring, Meg. I'm going to show you how to do this.
Yeah.
So when you meet you a basketball player, football player, put this wet on him and watch him give you a ring, because there's nothing like wet for a guy, period. But what happens is we talk about the high value man, which is, the guy who has unlimited options. Why would I put myself in a situation where I only have one when I can have many?
Mhm.
And you're not special to me. There's nothing special about our relationship except for that we're in the public and we can maximize our power couple image. And you see, she left Offset to go to where?
To Stephon Diggs, and the part is Offset was. Well, she was complaining about Offset cheating, so she picked a man who cheats more.
No, she picked an athlete.
It's great.
Yes.
She didn't pick a man.
Yeah.
She picked where the next apex goes up. She
Yeah.
feel like she went from, fuck this, fuck you, Offset.
Yeah, she's up.
You're not good enough. You're not him. You don't have muscles. You can't run a 440. You don't catch footballs. You don't have a bunch of people every Sunday coming to see you play. This is the new metric for you. So you look at Meg. Why would Meg go to another rapper? She's been with them.
Yeah.
And if the football players don't look like they want to stand in line, guess who will? 100%. And Clay's not white. Clay has a lot of in him, right? So the monogamy part is going to be hard because traditionally between urban and white America, monogamy is harder in the urban community than it is in white America. So we know that Papa is a Rolling Stone is a real thing when it comes down to I'm going to who I want to. Clay's no different. He's had a plethora of women that he wants anytime. And for Meg to think that she could bottle him up and say, I want you to only be with me. And granted, I'm not saying he did this. Clay might have found out he was a mid.
I think Clay probably in the beginning said something to the effect of, yeah, I'll give you what you want, not realizing what was going on. It's confusing to me that he went public with her. Like
not confusing.
You thought it was for
It's
clout.
Meg, yes.
Okay.
It's a PR play
Got it.
for both, because you got to think where Clay was. You got pushed out,
Yes.
right?
Mm.
You're
Golden
Dallas.
State. Yeah.
Yes. So I need something to keep my energy up.
I mean, had they not traded Luka, I think they would have they would have been a very good team. And Luka created more open shots from any player in the
100%. And
NBA.
we've seen that in the finals where we need just one guy to be able to hit
Yes.
shots, and we would have taken it over the top.
Yeah.
So you look at Clay and the opportunity that was lost. He's lost now, trying to find his way. Meg comes in. Everybody's like, ooh, Meg got her. She got herself a baller. And it's Klay Thompson. 4 championships, $300 million. You can't lose with that. Yes, you can. You fed him you fed him catfish and spaghetti in one plate and forced that man to lie to everybody like it was good. Like you couldn't smell the catfish in the house for 3 days. Open a window in this. stinks,
Yeah.
right? But we understand this as athletes that Clay's got to do what he's doing, especially if she's throwing that thing on him.
Yeah.
She's throwing that thing on him, and it look and feel like we all think it does. Clay's winning. But I always say this, nah, a real man ain't going to leave no good pussy. Not going to leave no good pussy. The real man going to follow that good pussy through the window, underneath the headboards. Hey, I'm high. Hey, what the fuck you doing over there? Where you going? No.
Who you talking to?
Who you talking to? Hey. Now, hey, but to let them just walk off and say, I don't want to be monogamous.
Yeah.
That got to be, I'm second guessing it. You're not doing something that I'm used to my other joints doing. And I miss my other joints. I miss my dogs.
Do you think there was a transition point for him where he realized that this wasn't working anymore? Do you think it was one thing?
Yeah, postseason.
Postseason?
Yeah. DJ Academics said it. He predicted it.
Yeah.
He said in the beginning, this feels like a seasonal thing. Preseason, during the season, they got together. It's going to be a thing throughout the season. By the time the season's over with, Clay's new season starts.
Yeah.
This is now the summer session of the season where I'm on my boat, I'm fishing with my dog, and I got girls coming in and out for wherever I want them to. I can't do that with Meg with me. And I don't think any man is really down to deal with the headache of a 2026 woman today, because there's too much responsibility, there's too much expectation, there's too much nagging, there's too much complaining. You have to do too much. And especially if you just want to chill, and now she wants to do all this stuff, and it's like she's who she is, like dating Mariah Carey. Like, what do, Nick? You got to get the f out of there and just go make a bunch of babies. Why would he do that if the was good? Not leaving Mariah Carey. Money and good way. But somehow, some way, guy leaves that and just has now 10 mistresses or 10 baby mamas, a bunch of babies, and no wife.
Yeah.
I'd rather this life than that one. It's something that people are not adding up.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy. One thing I think a lot of people don't grasp is I believe there's only been 6,000 people who've ever played NBA basketball, 5,000 that ever played NBA basketball, which is a crazy number when you consider it. There's only 360 roster spots in the whole NBA. And do you growing up in New Hampshire, right? You played
North Carolina, but I went to school in New Hampshire.
When you consider that, is the whole time when you're coming up, is it a feeling of, I can't believe I'm doing this? It's gratitude, or it's like, no, I'm putting in work and I'm killing all these guys and I deserve to be here? Like, what is the feeling like, the realization that you might get to the NBA?
I'll be honest. You get lost in the pipeline of the farm system, because there's a farm system from, I guess you would call it Pop Warner.
Yeah.
AAU. You get from there to middle school. You start traveling, doing traveling teams and national tournaments and stuff like that, learning where you place in the ecosystem. And then you go to high school, you start to get ranked. You start filling out whether or not you want to go to college. Then the college team recruits you, and you're like, all right, I'm going to college now. At no point where it was ever like, I'm going to be a part of this fraternity, I'm going to be part of this elite club. It was just these are the next steps.
Yeah.
And
did you love UNC before growing up there?
Yeah. I became a fan with Vince Carter.
Yes. Okay.
97, 98. It was one of those things where, of course, Michael Jordan went to Carolina and he did the things he did in 82. And he became Michael Jordan. I think everybody at some point was in awe of Mike during those times. But Carolina, Duke, UConn, UCLA, there's a bunch of teams that I would consider going to, but North Carolina was like, home is where the heart is.
Sure.
And for me personally, it wasn't a North Carolina thing for me. It was a Michael Jordan thing. I made a decision at 13 that I wanted to chase the admiration that he had. I want to be like Mike, the commercials, the endorsements, the love. And when I said that to myself, like, I want that feeling that Mike gets from the kids and the people. I want them to want that from me. And I said, well, how do I do that? You have to follow in his footsteps. So what does that mean? All right, you go to Carolina, you break those records, you win a championship, you go wherever you go in the NBA, and you try to follow in his footsteps or whatever he did, if you can in that capacity. And so if Mike would have went to Wake Forest, if he went to Pepperdine, I would have went there because I was following that greatness, so it had nothing to do with North Carolina.
I hear Kenny Smith talk about often like the UNC family. I know you and Raymond Felton have had like public disputes about what happened is the whistleblower situation. Do you still have connections with the people at UNC?
No, man. And that's the funny thing about college, because I see it as something totally different. I see it as a plantation for small minds. And when you look at the university and the system for athletes, you can get caught up in the camaraderie of, oh, we're teammates, we went to this college, blah, blah, blah. But to me, when I left college. And I came out to LA. And I made more friends and more new relationships here than I ever had back then. And teammates are teammates. Just like in football or basketball and the NBA, you go, you play on a team for 2 years, you make friends, but then you get traded. You can still have those friends be your friends, but if you don't have no friends, you're not looking back trying to make friends with your old team. You go to your new team, you make new friends, and you keep it going. It's all a business. So I never had or kept those friendships. Well, I never really had true friendships from the team, but it was about winning for me. I was a real true leader, and I took the Kobe Bryant approach that he took later in his career when it came down to leadership. It's very lonely. It's very hard because you have to do and say hard truths and deal with the egos and the backlash of what you do say and how it may change the perception of how that person feels. And I did that at 18. So dealing with that, I didn't have to think about what was happening from the college standpoint when I'm in LA at the age of 27, 28. I'm not trying to go back and have a kumbaya, but if I'm invited back, hey, what's up? I remember y'all, what's going on? How's the fam? Blah, blah, blah. But I just moved on.
The period in between championships for Kobe specifically, he has talked before about him maybe wishing he had done a couple things different, maybe not humiliating Smush Parker and stuff like that, and was a very different leader in that 2009, 2010 seasons. And I'm curious, do you look back and think, even though Kevin McHale had his preconceived notions or whatever, do you look back and say there's things you could have done different in those situations to prolong your career?
100%, but at the same time, I spend more time reflecting than I should. Because it starts to form regret and, oh, I wish this, I wish that, but I wouldn't be who I am today. And I feel like I'm in the best form that I could ever be in now with the awareness of what I've dealt with and the decisions that I've made. So I can't go back and say that I would rather have done this or rather have done that. I think it all panned out the way it was because anybody who knows me knows I haven't changed. I'm still the same exact guy, just older, more refined, more knowledge, more wisdom. I still toe the line. I still challenge the guys. I was challenging Coach Williams. I was challenging Kevin McHale, Randy Whitman, everybody that I came in contact with, because I feel like if you consider me a kid, you treat me like a kid. But I'm a man. You're going to treat me like a man, and I'm going to demand that. And sometimes the establishment doesn't like that, when you can be free and sovereign. And I've always been that. So it's always going to be a challenge for people to think that you should be accountable for what happened. And I am. And I always take blame for everything that's happened. But I say to myself, too, I say, what happened? What is it that happened? People had an expectation for me. That's more beautiful than me actually not having an expectation at all. So the fact that people expected me to be great and do these things and I fell short of those expectations, I could commend myself to say, man, at least I did have an expectation. I had talent and potential. But what does it say that I didn't reach it? It says that I can go do other things.
Steven Jackson has this really interesting quote where he talks about he played against Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. He said, Michael, he was in awe. Kobe, he was like, I'm afraid this guy's going to embarrass me every time I'm out there, so I have to stay away. And with LeBron, he's like, it's like LeBron didn't even notice you. He was just so much bigger and stronger and faster than you. You get into the league, you've played Division I college basketball at the highest level. You get into the league, are there athletes and you're like, I don't even understand what I'm guarding right now. Was there anything like that, or was it just something you'd be used to?
No, because you got to think that if you're a lion, you know lions.
Yeah.
You know what they're capable of, and you know which one not to with, and which one you can walk around and growl at. And that was the thing. It wasn't that lion was so much bigger and stronger, and it was just that growl, and those teeth are a lot sharper. Those jaws are a lot stronger. You with him, and you're going to be limping. You might even not come back. But that was the Kobe. That was the Kevin Garnett, the Tim Duncans, the Shaqs, the Dwayne Wade.
You knew you didn't want to deliberately try to piss them off.
Yeah, you didn't. But you did. But you did.
Yes.
Depending on what kind of man you are, right? Like, I'm not going to be afraid of that lion over there if I'm a lion.
But when you see like Dylan Brooks, do you think it goes too far sometimes? No?
No, because if he's not doing it, who is?
Yeah.
And if he's not doing it, he thinks he's the king of the jungle.
Right.
We are still lions. So let's challenge. You have to beat me to be the king. I'm not just going to bow down just because you're walking around with your chest out and everybody's like, ooh, look at his mane. No, man, fuck that mane. Show me. And that was my thing. Every time I stepped on the court, I had 6 fouls. When I subbed in, I fouled the guy I was guarding immediately. Guess who I was guarding? The best guy on the floor. Kobe, Paul Pierce, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter. I bumped them right away. That's my foul. Hey, listen, Vince, Kobe, Paul, T-Mac, I got 5 more fouls. You better give me everything you got. I didn't come out here for you to be around with me. You need to show me you're the guy. That's my approach. And I love that because I got the best out of them. And they gave me respect for that. And I love that to this day. That's why anybody can say, oh, your career didn't go this way, your career didn't go that way. But I got respect from the highest caliber guys. Not only them, but Michael Jordan himself. I was a North Carolina guy. So Mike would be at bars at Carolina, Santa Barbara. I was the only guy that can walk in that room and say what's up to Mike. Everybody else had to follow me. He knew me. He taught me things on the court. So when people look at me like, who the f*** are you? I'm somebody you don't want to know. I'm John Wick. I'm the guy that got the shit that you don't want to kill my dog. You don't want to f*** with me while I'm in my hibernation. But I've been in rooms and I know things and I have a skill set.
Yeah, see, that's interesting to me because I mean, you can apply it towards basketball, but just the idea that once you get on that court with those guys who are just like you've known them for a long time, they are names. Like you don't have to know basketball, and you know who LeBron James and you know who Michael Jordan is, right? And to be just to like for like maybe for the first time you go on the court with those dudes there, and they're like demigods. They're like beyond like what you're like, oh my God, but it's like it's up here.
Yes,
it's up here.
Yes,
and it's what's funny to me is like that. I mean, just their presence will like psych you out. Just them being on there. Oh my God, I'm having to guard this guy.
So speaking of which, what is Garnett like as a teammate when you get to Minnesota?
I didn't know that there was anybody like me at a higher level when it comes to intensity, ferociousness, like yelling, screaming, demanding the best out of your teammates, not giving a about what everybody else thinks, like you're gonna like, but still be a good teammate, right? And so my first encounter with him, I actually had a hamstring injury going into training camp, so I had to sit out on the side. So I remember coming in to practice, and Wally Zerbiak was on the side, and KG was cussing everybody. Get your, and he was literally not talking to everybody. He was talking to Kevin McHale, who was the GM at the time, sitting on the side.
Yeah.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Bring your ass out. I'll fuck you up right now.
And ironically, traded him to Boston. Yeah.
Wally, is KG like this all the time? He's like, that's nothing. It's just KG has taken me and take it. We wait till he gets mad. Wait till he gets mad. Wait till he gets mad. Like, he's just being ticket right now. And so as the 2 years that I did spend with him, I was able to dissect that and actually pick his brain about what that was. And he turned that switch on when he needed it to, which was every day, before every practice, before every game. And it was, the reason I can't turn this thing off is because I created a persona that helps me thrive. So every time he came to practice, he would be friendly, he would do his thing and be nice to everybody. But once he walked through that door and he wiped his feet on that thing, don't f with KG. Like, he'll cuss your ass out. He'll take it there. And I think even to this day, he'll tell you, like, the intensity wasn't it wasn't a mask or like a fake like act.
Right.
It was a part of his personality like the Black Mamba.
Mhm.
Like he switched it on. Like, all right, now I'm him. Like alter ego, like schizophrenia.
Warfare song.
Man. So, and I think that I had that in college where a lot of my teammates I rubbed the wrong way based on the fact that I could turn on this. I don't give a I'm straight faced. I might not speak to you today. I might not speak to you tomorrow. But guess what we're doing on Thursday?
Mhm.
I got some girls coming to the apartment. I'm inviting all y'all, that type of thing. So I think leadership is a part of that, like trying to dissect when and where and how you show up for your teammates. And I think that's the thing you said Kobe tried to figure out as far as the things he regretted with Smush. Certain guys, you got to meet them where they at, but you also got to show some empathy and some compassion about them not being where you are.
They're not as good as you. Yeah, that's the problem. They could get up at the same time. Smush Parker was never going to be Kobe Bryant, right? And so that was the issue. And there was those years in between where he's leading the league in scoring one year, he's MVP, but there's the second half of that game against Phoenix where he doesn't even take a single shot. And I'm like, I can't imagine being in the military. I was in the military for 7 years. I can't imagine doing something like that. And so later on, just coming to the realization, because you see this a lot of times, you have Jason Kidd, but for the most part, really great players don't often become great coaches because considering Michael Jordan as a coach, and then he's just like, just do it like I did.
Yeah, and that's
like,
the expectation.
If you're coaching Jimmy Butler, maybe, but for the rest of the squad, that's not going to work. And so I do think that is one of the things where you have to understand the expectations of other people, and maybe he had a hard time doing that. I do want to actually about the mid-game pickoff. You said you'd have a girl, and then you'd go to the locker room, and the other guys would like be trying to talk to your girl.
So we're talking about if you're a regular guy, at a game, and you're sitting with your girl.
Oh yeah.
All right, you courtside seats or even mid section seats. You leave, go to the bathroom, you leave her there. And we are sitting on the bench because I was a bench guy, and we're scouting, searching, hunting, prowling, looking. Ball boy, come here. You see your girl right there? No, over there. Yeah, the white girl right there. I need you to go get her number. Okay. Goes up there. Hey, guy, he wants you. Oh, really? The guy comes back. He has the hot dogs and the beer and all that.
That's right.
Yeah. She's smiling. He has no idea that
he is Russell Wilson. He is
not
Future
Wilson.
He has no idea, and it's just a sniper game for us because it's not that we know we're going to get it. It's just we're competitive by nature, and we want to use that competitive nature to our advantage. That advantage is having salary and being visible. And hey, don't you want an NBA guy on your roster that's going to fly you out and treat you to a nice time and then fly you back so you can be with your boyfriend and got your hot dogs and the beer? That's cool. But it's no slight to the regular guy that comes to the games with his girl. It's just, listen, Chris Brown said it. When a rich want you, these ain't loyal. And you got to get with the program when it comes down to it's just what it is. Just like with any female, she wants this guy, and her girlfriend wants this guy. But if this girl is hot, you have no chance. The hot girl's going to get the hot guy.
Next time I watch a game, I'm going to be starting looking at like down towards the bench. I'm going to look at mid, and I'm going to say how many of that, like, because I wonder if like how many girls already know that. And so they will like, you're going to take me? Oh, yeah, I'll be like,
Miami for sure.
Yeah.
Miami, they go to the game because they know that they can get chose. 100%. Probably more in Phoenix too. Phoenix is probably a hub for that. Once it happens in Vegas, it's going to be
when it happens in Vegas, it's just going to be
it's finally have a real city, right?
It's going to be
it's going to be different. But New York,
we get a baseball
happens
team
in New York.
28.
Yeah. You mentioned great men can't be faithful. Well, can you go into that? Is there any possibility or
that reference came from athletes in their stratosphere, right? And saying that if you've accumulated a certain amount of money and fame and status, what is it that's keeping you faithful? It has to be the agreement to be faithful, because naturally, if you have options, you're going to explore those options because there's no boundary or restriction other than me telling my girl that I'm going to be faithful to you. And that's going to be up to you as a decision. But I feel like if a woman is going to expect a man to do that, she has to come and fulfill those expectations by keeping me monogamous. So I've always said, like, there's going to be the girl that loves you. She cares, she nurtures, but she doesn't suck you off. Not in the car anyway. That's where you like most of the
That's real love, right?
that's real love. But she hates it. She hates it. And you meet somebody who loves it. As a man, you gonna compromise what you love based on somebody else and what they don't want? Maybe. A lot of guys do.
I think most guys do.
A lot of guys do.
Yeah.
So you look at even the more extreme versions. Now, I'm adding on to this. I'm not taking away the blowjob is one. Just one. Then there's the talking while I'm watching football. Then there's the you don't cook. Then there's the you don't like my mom. Then there's you always gossiping. Then there's you're always wearing the big panties. There's a lot of things that now accumulate to, man, I just met someone that does all the things that I like. I don't want to replace you though. You're still mine. I love you. But listen, she's private too. She doesn't want to tell. She doesn't tell the secret. She's going to keep us on the low, and I can keep it on the low too. But there's 5 of them. I have 5 of these on the lows with my main that I love. I love you, baby, but listen, I'm going out of town this week. Just don't bring nothing back. Now, if she had the understanding that this is who I am, there would be no friction in the relationship because I know my man. We talked about this the last time. You've been around, like you guys say, you do bikini contests. You've been around hundreds and thousands of naked women and all that. And it's like when you have that wherewithal and you can control your lusts and your temptations, that's not even a problem for you when you love the one you love.
Yes.
But when they're not matching the energy of the things that I love myself, and I have to compromise those things I love, going to strip clubs, watching and whatever, now I've turned into who she wants me to be. I'm not me. What happened to me? Well, you met a woman. She's going to change you.
Yeah.
So I feel like every man should
change yourself into what you think she wants you to be.
That part.
Yes.
So when you ask the question, like, can a man be faithful? Should a man be faithful? I mean, once you clip a dog's nuts, he stops searching out for the other.
Yeah.
The dog changes. Yep. He's not even ferocious anymore. Barely barks when somebody comes in. He's fucking hurt. I go, well, my balls are gone. Same thing happens in this scenario when you clip your balls because your natural instinct is to always hunt. But the temptation and the lust of overhunting is the other thing. It's like, do you do it because your ego or do you do it because you need it? I always felt like the understanding comes from me just being open and honest. Like, look, baby, I like these things. If I go out and I meet somebody and we connect and I feel like that's what I want at the time, I might do it. Because I have the freedom to. But your willingness to understand my freedom is going to help me pull that back a little bit more and say, you know what? I got something good at home, man. And she doesn't like this type of shit. I'm not going to risk that. I have a choice. I'm going to choose not to.
Right.
Because she's a great woman. And even though she doesn't like sucking my dick in the car,
she does like sucking my dick. Somewhere else.
She does like doing it in the bathroom.
Yes.
It's cool. I compromise that.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, one of the things I want to bring up is that often the criticisms of this space is that you guys are complaining because of pain that you're experiencing. They call us incel programs, etc. And consistently, I can show either from the testimony of very successful men or just watching Call Her Daddy every week, that it's not the men who are being taken advantage of that are complaining. It's the men at the top. Like, well, I've said this before, like I'm not telling you to not let your girl go on a girls trip to Vegas because I got hurt because my girl went on a girls trip to Vegas. I'm telling you because I live in Vegas and I'm on stage with your girl about to go cheat on you with the DJ. I'm not coming from a place of hurt.
No.
I'm coming from the other side of it. And if both sides are saying the same thing, these men are being left behind and these other men are like, yeah, you're right. I'm King 6'8" is like, yeah, it's like 50 girls trying to have sex with me. Then we're illustrating, we're drawing the picture from both sides. We're seeing both sides of the same coin.
Yep.
That's not hurt.
No.
That's just reality.
It's observation.
It's just general observation. A new study came out. I don't know if I showed you this one. It was basically showed that 58% of women's sexual relationships are with the top 10% most promiscuous men.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, but the problem is, do you remember how many times we've been lambasted by people saying, "Oh, you guys are just quoting that one OkCupid study"? No, we're not.
No.
This is peer-reviewed data.
In fact, that's the oldest of many that I've actually quoted. But
when you see that, it's like that. It's true. It's not misogynistic. It's just true. When you hear that kind of stuff, the bottom third of men get no sex. That's Deborah So saying that. Dr. Deborah So, PhD of psychology from York University. She's saying that. I'm not the one saying that.
I was watching and I was talking about this earlier a little bit with you off camera, but I was watching I guess we'd call it an interview, the talk between Will Costello and Chris Williamson and Freya from the girls' book, and then I forget the other chick's name. One of the things that Will said was basically confirming pretty much everything like we've talked about for the last 3.5 years.
Sure.
But the thing is it always comes down to this idea that like, oh, women have stepped up their game. They have like all this, this economic power. They have this. They're agentic. I don't know how many times I heard the word agentic during that damn interview. And then the thing is like it always comes back to, well, guys need to up their game. I'm like, well, the thing is like, yeah, but the women are all fighting for that top 4.5%, right? They're all top for the guy that you're talking about who has the money, the means, the status, the power to say, you know what, I don't have to be faithful if I don't want to.
Right.
If I want to, I will, because we have something good going on here, because you understand me and you understand what my lifestyle is like, and you're gonna like me 10 ways till Tuesday because I'm going off to Miami next week,
and
right?
You don't want me doing anything crazy.
Yeah, exactly. But it's unspoken, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, I know that this is what it's about, and this is the character of our relationship, right? As opposed to going, well, I'm going to wear the big panties, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, like that kind of stuff. It's like I'm at the point right now where I'm about ready to point out the obvious here, is that even when you're in a relationship like that, especially when women have more power and all this other stuff, the guys who have extraordinarily more power than that, or more agency, or whatever you want to call it, those guys have the options to be able to live the lifestyle that you were just talking about. So if they choose not to, if they say, you know what, I'm going to be faithful to you because I kind of like what I got going on right here, it's like, that's at least if the woman appreciates that, it's great. So fantastic. But what I'm really seeing right now is there's this sort of, everybody wants to like tell guys to do better, man up, do this, whatever. I'm like, okay, yeah, but you have to do your level of do better so average women will want to be one of your 5 in your roster.
This is what I love about this space, and that's what I love about you guys, because I have had experience from both sides. I have been the guy that allowed his girl to go on the girls trip and found out that it was a girls trip.
Yeah.
Right? She tried to hide it. There's a bunch of shit that happened where I'm like, what the is going on?
I'm sad for other men when I hear about the girls trip. Yeah.
And I've been the guy that knows your girl.
Yeah.
More times than actually the girl going on the girls trip. That only happened to me once. But when it happened, I knew how real it was from the other side. Now I have both perspectives.
Yeah.
And I can understand how a man could feel letting his girl go on a girls trip, giving her full confidence. Nah, go ahead, do your thing. Where you staying? Oh, you don't want to tell me where you're staying? That's odd. Who you with? I thought you were with the girls that are married, and you're not with. Oh, you're with the 2 stripper. Oh, okay. Hold on here. Okay. You don't send me no pictures. You ain't doing nothing. Now I feel like I gotta keep tabs on you, because I've made the conscious decision to be monogamous in this relationship.
Yes.
I could go back to being me, right? But I feel like I'm wasting my time. But still, I found out about the girls trip, and then before that, prior to the girls trip, when I was in the NBA, I was dealing with guys and their wives and girls trip. You're coming to LA, and I know your wife and your girlfriend was in our section, and all of these things happen. So when you have both sides of the spectrum and you're looking at it at this lens where you're like, damn, these women feel so entitled based on making men feel a certain way from knowing their intuition is to be right, that if I met this girl and stole her from her boyfriend, what is she going to do when I get her?
Yes.
Like that, like we have to be smarter in the sense of not buying into the delusion that the women have bought into for so many years. It's just they switch the tables.
Yeah. The problem is it's not just that. It's also, what does this say about society in general that this is so common? Well, one of the two massive misunderstandings, I'm curious what you think about this. The first one, when women are complaining about men, they're only complaining about the top 15% of men, either the 15% tallest, richest, highest status, whatever. When they're like, these, we do reaction videos all the time, and it's women like, all these men just think that they don't have to do anything and women are just going to pick them. And I'm like, all these men? Are you sure all these men are going through that? And then you look at the stats. Again, bottom third of men, no sex in the last year. The median man in the United States has had 5 sexual partners in his entire life. Top 5% is 50 sexual partners. Top 1% is 150 sexual partners. So it's a hockey stick. It goes flat, 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 and then it just shoots up like this. That's not a normal distribution. That's a logarithmic distribution of sexual partners. What is that? And if you look for women, it actually is a little bit more linear. And so when you see that, the only questions that you can ask yourself is like, okay, number one, why do women keep complaining about men, not recognizing that they're missing 85% men? Do this real quick. Next time you go out to a social gathering with a bunch of women, and then you notice the busser, the barback, notice the waiter, whatever, as long as they're male, and then ask the girls, can you describe the busser, the barback, anyone?
Yeah.
And then here's another one. This really fun game to play. Have women face the wall and you're facing outwards. And then you ask her, how many people do you think are in this room? And she will always underguess by like a large amount because she literally doesn't see low status men. It's not that she hates them. She doesn't see them. Go to Chick-fil-A, get the order from the guy in the Chick-fil-A, and then wait about 4 minutes and say, can you describe the guy who just gave you your order? They cannot. It's incredible. I've tried this so many times. They can't describe him because he was not of note. And so she saw him as an inanimate object. And it's just one of the craziest things. The second misconception, that was the first one, is like these women think it's all men. No, it's just the men you're picking. And the second misconception is when you ask women what they're attracted to, what we're asking as men is what makes you want to have sex. What women are hearing is what makes a good partner. So we say, hey, what is it makes you want to have sex? They don't want to answer tattoos, really strong guy. He slept with a bunch of my friends. He kind of makes me chase. They don't want to say that, even though that's who they have sex with. Instead, they say, I like a guy who reads, plays the piano, speaks multiple languages, and does astronomy. That's what they say that they want. And so those two disconnects, number one, you think that you're dating, you're only choosing the top few guys. And number two, when men are asking you what you like, you keep talking about what makes a good partner. And then we hear Kate Hudson and Nikki Glaser talking about, I like it when my man other women. And you're like, wait a second, we asked you what you liked, and now you're saying this? It's one of the craziest things. So I think those are the two massive misunderstandings. If those two misunderstandings were cleared up, there'd be no red pill, there'd be no dating space, there'd be no caller daddy. People could just understand those two concepts.
I would say this. Today's price is not yesterday's price. Number one, prices went up. So that percentages of the peer review, it's accurate for a reason because the price is different. The price is not actually like a monetary thing, though. It's actually, what do you bring to the table as a man for me to consider you the top 4%? Right. So if you don't have the look, one is what you just talked about as far as the busser and you don't have the look. You don't have the light. You have to be shining. Right? So if you're not clavicular, or good looking, you know.
We really need him to come on like Access Vegas. We need him for like as a guest on
So he gets just off of looking this way, right? So now guys want to go change their faces to look like him so they can get right? So that's one. Then you have to have the money because first of all, you said Chick-fil-A. You can't work at Chick-fil-A. I'm not looking at no Chick-fil-A guy. But guess what we do when we pull up a Chick-fil-A of that bad? What's your number?
Yeah.
I'd love
What time
to.
you get off?
Man, turn around. Let me see that thing. Ooh, you got something back there. We can work with that.
Yep.
They can't work with Chick-fil-A because it doesn't fit the social structure.
Mm-hmm.
Social structure has to fit. So you say, all right, 4%. How tall are you? Yeah, 5'8". Yeah. I just a guy 6'3". You don't fit the bill. You're not king 6'8".
Yeah.
He stands outside just because he's 6'8" and gets
No, I
6'8".
can get 6'8".
Man, I'm big and he's cute. Oh, I want to f him. He didn't have to say a word. So you look at that social dynamic and how the advantage goes to the 4%. And if the price is not what it was yesterday, guys have to adjust to what their price is. And that's what's happening in our social structure is you got this new guy coming in saying you got to look like this. I get just off my plastic surgery. Are you guys going to go get plastic surgery and get – then you got Andrew Tate who told you, like, man, I've been a millionaire for years and years and years, and I've been getting like this from you. But I had to get in my Bentley. You was not driving a Toyota, pulling up, getting Drew. You had to tell them about your yachts and your mansion and any of that, bro. You wasn't that good looking for them. You're a regular if you don't use these things. The same with us as athletes. If she don't see me jumping and scoring, I'm just a physical specimen at that point. They're gonna guess, what sport do you play? We get on the elevator, old white guy, first thing he says, hey, what sport you play? I'm a star, man. Sports? What are you talking about? Man, I know you play something, man. And that's just the dynamic that we deal with. The girls do the same thing. I know he plays something. I know he does something. And if I got this nice Rolex and she sees it, oh, he has a Rolex on. We go out in the parking lot. She sees that Porsche. Conversations become a lot different. So when you look at the regular guy,
Ask her to describe you later on. She'll know your eye color.
Everything. She's intrigued because you fit the profile that all the girlfriends have been talking about.
Yeah.
Especially the one girlfriend who has it. She's experienced it. She's like, oh, girl, you gotta look. That's what you with? Don't he work at Chick-fil-A? Come on out with me. I'm gonna show you where you find guys that I date. That's where the price rises. And this is what's happened on social media. The price has risen so much because now we can swipe. You don't have to go out to the bar and find these guys now.
Yes.
I can find them here. So that's how you can fake it till you make it. You got to look the part now.
Perceptual status.
You don't have to be the guy. I said this when we were talking last time. You asked them what they want in a man. What do you want in a man? Tell me. All right, I'm taking notes, babe. Oh, okay. Okay, let me go talk to my homeboys. Hey, y'all, she wants me to do this.
She wants me to be more expressive.
Yeah.
All of these things.
Read poetry.
Emotionally intelligent.
All right,
Go to
so
therapy.
you need to have a good shoulder. She like good shoulders, so we're going to
Yep.
shoulder press today.
V-taper.
We're going to go get some protein at the place. We're going to go get on the gym. Now what's happening is men are now spending majority of their time trying to please a woman in what her perception of what she wants instead of controlling the marketplace, bringing that price back down to a level where it's affordable for everybody. Now, I don't have to worry about going out of my way to spend money for my appearance and my physique based on some. And it's mid, it's regular, but you're not special. But you think you are because the guys you don't want to you, and they're pushing your expectations higher and higher. Then the guy that you want to doesn't even see you. You got a fupa, baby. Bad that get their done by Dr. Miami. They don't have nothing. But she has to have the money to get the fupa gone. Where's she gonna get the money from?
Yeah, she's maybe compromise her ideals.
But what we call that is there's a platform for that.
Being a sugar baby,
Yeah,
a bunch
exactly.
of other things. Yeah.
No, I mean, I like what you're saying because it's like one of the things we've been talking about in this space for a very long time is the sexual marketplace.
Yes.
And I can remember when saying that, was just offensive.
Yeah.
I can remember.
And the term is directly from evolutionary psychology.
So like I'm bringing this up 2005, 2010, 2015, you know, and right up until recently when it's been a little bit more widely accepted, like people will go, okay, and I know what you're talking about. Up to that point, people were like, "Oh man, that's dehumanizing. You're by putting a price tag on people and stuff like that." And it's like, yeah, except for now when women are at this sort of economic advantage, or like, you know, and men need to do better and everything. Suddenly, everybody accepts that term now.
Yep.
And the thing is when you talk about the dating market, whatever you want to call it, when you refer to it as a sexual marketplace, you got to remember that's economics.
Yep.
And so the sexual marketplace is an actual marketplace, right? And it is subject to the same influences and the same stresses as any other economy.
Yes.
Right. So if you look at it like there's going to be recessions and depressions and inflation and wholeflation. Yeah. So there's going to be all of the same things that you can apply to like sort of currency as in economics. You can apply that to the sexual marketplace as well. It just comes in different forms.
Well,
and so when you look at this, like when you get to the point where women are pricing themselves out of the market, well, what happens when a business prices itself out of the market? They go out of business, or they file bankruptcy, or they have to bring
it back down.
Again, when I hear the term sexual marketplace, again, this is not a manosphere propaganda term. It comes directly from evolutionary psychology. And they say that the term is dehumanizing. You know what else is dehumanizing?
When it comes from us, it's dehumanizing.
What else is dehumanizing is being a man who did everything right, and you can't get a date because it's 6 matches for every 1,000 right swipes on a dating app. You go out to nightclubs and bars, and they are devoid of women because women are getting their validation through social media. You want to talk about dehumanizing? Just being ignored by the opposite sex completely is dehumanizing, which is why we have to have this conversation in the first place. And it's just it's unfettered hypergamy that has led to the situation that we're in now. And again, I'm not complaining. It's just a function of natural selection. But I'm curious what you think about this. You know, you and I, when we're growing up, there were good guys and bad guys. There was Hulk Hogan and the Iron Sheik.
Yep.
You understood that there were good guys and bad guys. Around 2000, that arc just sort of ended. And it was Tony Soprano, it was The Rock, it was Stone Cold Steve Austin, it was Jack Bauer, it was it was Gregory House, it was all these guys it was Dexter. They were the good guy and the bad guy at the same time. In fact, our president now is the good guy and the bad guy at the same time, right?
The anti-hero.
Right. Yeah. He does both of these things at the same time. I do believe that there's this massive difference in the last 25 years where there's this mid-tier level of fame and status that didn't exist before. Back in 1985, you were the president, you were Tom Cruise, the president of the United States, you were super famous, you were Dan Rather, or you were a janitor.
Yep.
No, there was maybe the mayor in your city had a mid-tier level of fame. Now, because of social media, like, who is Aiden Ross really? He'll get women. He's incredibly famous, but it's like, where is he a governor? No. Is he a business mogul? No. He's a streamer. So there's this like mid-tier level of fame. And then you see guys like, let's use Dr. Max Butterworth. You know who he is there, right?
Yeah.
So he's a medical doctor. He's a clinician.
C-lister.
He's a clinician. But like I promise you, women are throwing themselves at him. It's enough. James Sexton, another great example. James Sexton has 100,000 followers on.
I know for a fact women are throwing.
Yeah, and they are throwing that now. He doesn't need it. He's
nothing but love.
But what I'm saying is, you don't have to be Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant to be, because in comparison, this is what you're going up against. You're going up against the Island Boys, Tekashi 6ix9ine. You're going up against Machine Gun Kelly. You're going up against Harry Styles, the most feminine group of 20-year-old men that have ever. You're going up against Harry Sisson, the most feminine group of 20-year-old men who've ever existed. So I actually think while this problem we're describing exists, it's just a little bit of status and a little bit of maintaining your boundaries. Be Future. Don't be Russell Wilson. Just a little bit of maintaining your boundaries. You can get a girl. Now, she's still problematic, right? She still looks up to Marilyn Monroe and Megan Thee Stallion. You still have issues, but I do think it's not as impossible if you just understanding a monicum of just a small amount of status.
So what are you guys seeing in the older women that used to have high sexual marketplace value now that they're older? Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Now 26-year-olds to feel good about herself. Nia Long, 55, got to go date a younger guy to feel good about herself. Why is that?
We could get Puma Swede to come in and tell us.
Why is that? I think it's because we know what they're about. We remember the times when you used to be 26 and those legs used to split. for nothing, just because I'm coming over to watch a movie. But now it's the expectation of you wanting more and more and more and want us to be more and more and more. And the capacity of what I always speak about is allow women to be what they have evolved into. They have evolved into, I want to see what's out there. I want to explore my options. Even if those options are unrealistic.
Yeah.
Dating apps. I always wondered because, like I said, I love being on both sides of the spectrum. I get to be on the dating apps. I get to go into the bars and be the single guy looking for the girl. I'm still the predator. So if I'm the guy that's looking for my mate and I get to go and find out that in this particular dating app, all these girls have the same caption. How? They don't get to see what I see because I'm on this side swiping. How did they get the same? How are they all looking for the same thing? Emotional intelligence. I need you to plan the date. Do this. Show up
with intention.
Oh, intentions. Stop saying intentions.
Oh, I'm dating with intention.
This is
just not the intention.
You understand how call for a woman to say I'm dating with intention. I understand you have a limited time to have a met you. If a man shows up and he's dating with intent, do you understand? I'm going on a date with you. We've never met, and I'm already intending on getting married to you. No, I'm a stalker. I'm a weirdo. That doesn't make any sense. Men can just be like, hey, this might be the greatest sex of my life, and then we don't talk anymore. Or it could be a relationship. I'm totally open to both. And because I'm open to both, right, it's almost like Schrodinger's cat. It can be both things at the same time until we figure out what it is. If I'm open to both things, then there's no intention. I'm just living my life and being in the present moment.
They say intention, right? That just means that I want you to show up and be my husband.
Yes.
Right away. Right?
No sacrifice.
No nothing.
I need husband vibes from the word go.
I need husband vibes from the word go, right? And I always said this. This is a big new term now. It's called date, right? It means at the end. This is what happens on a date. You get at the end, babe. We're dating. And with intentions means we're going to do it again tomorrow, next week, and we're going to continue to give you at the end of this experience. And if you like it enough, we can consider having a conversation of what it looks like for the next couple of years. We're not going to talk about forever, like, because women are very impulsive and they change their mind with the indecisions of not knowing what they want based on their emotions. So you look at the whole thing, and like I said, I'm on the dating apps, I'm playing both sides, and I'm like, all right, I get to go out and I get to sit here and scroll and swipe, and I see that when I see you in person, you don't even show up as the person that I'm seeing on the app. You're lying to me. And I've always considered that any woman that wears makeup is a liar. You're a liar. You're hiding from yourself. You're like, I can't trust you because you don't even trust the version of you you're hiding from. Why are you wearing makeup? I don't want to hear that I feel like I got to feel pretty. You're
do it for other women.
You're lying to yourself. I don't get to show up with makeup on. I don't get to do. You get to see me authentically. So, the cosmetic industry has fooled women into believing that they can shape themselves into who they need to be for us to give them what they want. They want this. They want that. They can put the yoga pants on with the butt pads on. What do we like most? Like, this is where we're idiots because we see curves.
I know he likes the most.
We see them curves and we're like, woo, that's ass. It's like, we have no idea she doesn't really have. We have no idea that all the acne's under the makeup. We have no idea she has the duck lips and all of the stuff, no eyebrows. And let me see you, because the shame of who you really are is going to come and bring that marketplace value down, because you got to look at yourself in the mirror now. And the guys now are being shamed for having expectations for what was traditionally the modern day woman that could show up as herself, no makeup, don't give a fuck about her ass. And we just like, I can deal with that.
That's interesting, because like when you're talking about like how guys have to be, you can't put on makeup, you can't put on this, you have to be this way. And any attempt for you to just like metaphorically put on makeup, like any attempt for you to like wear a necklace, wear the way you're doing it.
Yep.
Everybody says, "Oh, he's posing," or "That's not." You're really not like that,
Right.
you know. One of the things I keep hearing over and over again about clavicular is like they can't believe that this is a sign of the times, and like this is what guys are doing. They're turning themselves into sort of like self-absorbed women right now because they're hammering there with the thing, and they're taking it to this extreme degree or something like that. And I'm like, why does that bug women when they do the same thing? Like, you get a Brazilian butt lift, you're getting you're literally getting like plastic surgery, you're getting your lips enhanced, you're getting your boobs done, everything else, but it's not okay for him to like hit himself with a hammer to make his, I mean, it's stupid, right? But still, what gets me is like the thing is like for guys, we have to be what we are because you can't have any kind of like deceptive parts of you. Everything has to be on the table. There can't be any kind of, and the thing is what's funny is that if you look in romance novels and you like 50 Shades of Grey and you look at all these other, those aren't the guys that they write those novels about. Those guys have mystery to them. There's something women have to figure out this guy and what he's really about with that feminine intuition. But if that guy isn't 100% above board from the rip, then there must be something wrong, or he must be self-absorbed, or he must be like, a narcissist of some sort. Go ahead. What are you going to say?
One of the things that I read was where I think I align with you more than anything else is you shared a post saying that men's biggest mistake is giving women attention, validation, this is the exact words that I use, and access before they've proven anything. The way I like to describe it is attention is anything that does not require sacrifice. Oh, you're so handsome. Sending you a nude that you've sent to 35 other guys.
Oh, my God.
That requires zero sacrifice. When I use the word is cooperation or compliance, that requires some level of sacrifice. You left your friends to walk with me to a different part of the bar. We're having a conversation. Small piece of sacrifice. Then we left the bar together to go get something to eat. Again, you're hanging out with a guy. You're putting yourself in a vulnerable position. Small piece of sacrifice. So the difference is, does she send you a nude or does she come over nude? And you saying this, I completely agree. I was wondering if you can go into this idea of rewarding without proof.
Rewarding without proof. It's almost like sending a Cash App without getting the nude, right?
Yeah.
You it's like the thing, like.
But it even works against you. You sending the Cash App before you have sex with her ensures that you're almost never going to have sex with her.
Or that she can prolong it as long as she wants because she knows you're the simp guy now. I can literally, I can really string this on. And you can see, and this is not just us saying this. This is proof on the internet, which makes the internet a wonderful place to live on because there's so much evidence of women doing the same thing. So you look at, all right, I have to do this in order to get this. You have to have this amount or pay this amount to get this. And it's for the man's discretion for you to be able to say that you're willing to do that to get this. It's what makes it real. And I wanted to go back to the comparison of the butt lift, the BBL, and how men have to accept the fact that women are a reflection of our competitive nature when it comes to why do men take steroids and they go to the gym and they get bigger muscles, right? And they spend that much time in the gym. The girls, they go get the butt lift. They wear the makeup and they're doing the glutes. We're doing the chest. We want to look a certain way from the gym. This is our enhancement. They have their enhancement. So at this point, it's an equal opportunity for both sides. We just both sides frown upon each other and say, well, why can't we do this and all the stuff that you think that is feminine? But we've been in the competitive landscape for so long when it comes to you want a big ass, I want a big chest. You want nice breasts. You want to get your enhancements. I want big arms. So what's the difference? The difference is the women are going to use that for financial leverage when it comes to what they want.
It's an economic investment in their future.
A
boob job is an economic investment.
Boy, I wish I could give out loans for boob jobs. I'd make so much money. 15% interest, 30%. All I did is one financial company only did boob jobs.
Sartain
make so much money. Make the boob jobs on boob jobs. You're going to leave your husband and you're going to take half. First off,
but what's the reason to get in a boob job for a woman if all guys love boobs, but you don't really have nice boobs?
Yeah, there is no utility for a boob job. It does not aid in survival. It does not make your children live longer.
You want a boob job because guys like boobs.
It's better sexual.
So you can't say you're not doing it for men because you are. But then you'll say, I just want my breast to sit up. No, you want guys to talk to you because guys like boobs. Just like if you don't got no ass, this happened to me the other day. She asked me, do you wish that I had a thicker frame? No, if I would go get something that I like you for who you are. But the question was so triggering because they're in competition,
Right.
with the women that get things from having the nice ass. Yeah. And they're looking like, she got a nice ass. She has 200 likes. 200,000 likes. She has 200 comments. I want that, but I don't have an ass. So now I got to go get a BBL. And once they do, because I went to Rhino last night and I ain't never seen that many fine girls in one room.
Yeah, welcome to Vegas.
Man. And I'm like, yo, there's so many. But then it's like all BBLs, but they're nice BBLs. Very nice. And I'm like, damn, everyone's in here selling. They're selling the attention. And this is what women are now in competition with these girls that's in this room. 300 girls are in this room. And the girls on the internet are trying to be like them. And we are, as the guys, chasing
the economy.
We don't want to talk to you. I don't want to, like, they try to sit on your lap and have a conversation. Listen, man, just tell me how much it costs to go to the back. I'm not about to do all this where I'm from and all that shit. Man, I'm not.
You really care about me?
Yeah.
Oh, she really cares about me.
Flight's in about another 6 hours.
I was gonna go home with this one stripper, Michael. She really liked me. She's different from the other ones, bro. She's gonna leave her job and come meet me at El Dorado next door. Here's the funny thing. When you mentioned about the one thing I'm so confused by. So you know the cope. All the girls that come on whatever Access Vegas, Fresh and Fit. Right. The cope is, no, you guys are just picking the dumbest girls, which is nonsense.
I wish it was that easy.
There's thousands of women who've been on Fresh and Fit that have master's degrees. We've had 2 Miss Nevadas on our show. It is an ultimate incomplete cope. And the reason why is because the general public doesn't like the fact when you ask women, can you name the 3 countries? And most of them can't. They can name all the astrological signs, but they can't name 3 countries. Damn. That's just the reality. The cope that I'm really confused by is, if clavicular is so bad and so dumb, and I'm not making a statement of pro or against, why do these women beautiful women keep making out with him on every stream? If I'm a woman, I'm like, I'm trying to prove a point that hypergamy isn't real, that these men are pigs, and that we as women should do better. And then I watch the biggest streamer in the world just constantly embedded with young, hot women over and over again. It's like everything I'm trying to prove with my feminist beliefs is being disproved right here. And so why are they not furious, first off? And my second, furious about that. What about these other women that are choosing him? Why is it always Leonardo DiCaprio's fault for dating young women? Why is it never the woman's fault?
Right. Yeah.
That's the first question. Okay. And the second question is, as men, when I watch King 6'8" or when I watch Clavicular, I look at the comments, and it's very clear to me, it's not, the majority of them are not bone smashing. The majority of them are not going to get the leg lengthening surgery. The majority of them are not going to take meth, anabolic steroids. The majority aren't doing that. What the majority of them are doing is saying, now I know why I'm not getting picked. Because I'm not King 6'8". Now I know what I'm not getting picked, because I'm not clavicular. I'm not androgenic. And because I know I'm not those guys, now I feel better about myself and I can cover myself with the warm blanket of victimhood. This is why I don't get women, right? And then you see guys who actually do really well with women, and then it's just like you just ignore them, but you just see clavicular. And I really think what clavicular's main audience is a bunch of men who want to be victims. I actually think that's what it is more than anything else.
It's always been for looks maxers, it's like facing LMS. I mean, God.
Well, yeah, but it started with black pill.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, I think what's funny is like just because of like the rise of the popularity of clavicular, which by the way is all like astroturfed through Kick right now, apparently.
Yeah.
2 billion paid views. I mean, okay. The reason why we even know his name and you're hearing it on all these other podcasts and he gets on 60 Minutes is because he's got 1,610 guys that are just constantly, pounding out his content all the time. But that being what it is, it's still he's still just the most visible, player of the message of looks maxing, right? Well, the thing about looks maxing has been around since 2016, 2014.
Oh, I
I've
would
been-
say
like
Looks
Facing
Max-
LMS was
like,
around in 2018.
Men were putting
2019.
makeup on in the 17th
Yeah, well,
century.
exactly.
I think
I mean, you could
pretty
go,
far back.
You could go
yeah.
all the way back to that, but the thing is what I think is like women don't like to be reminded that yeah, there is that physical aspect, and if that guy doesn't look a certain way, or like what are they doing? There's like a comparison between like the guys in like a K-pop band and clavicular, and like so they're doing a poll as to which one is sexy or whatever, and they're picking clav over like the K-pop fans and stuff like that, and. But what's getting to me is that because women are, I mean, this is the narrative of the day, is because women have become so much more empowered and they make more money, they get more education, and they have, they're just better human beings in general. That they're taking care of their own long-term security needs, the beta buck side of things, provisioning, protection, and parental investment. If they can take care of that, what the do they need a guy who's got a halfway decent for? Why are they going to why would they take a step back in lifestyle if they can themselves give themselves a better lifestyle than this other guy? So what's left? The hot guy in the foam cannon party, the guy clavicular, right? The guy who looks good and she wants to have she just lays down good. That's the only thing that's left.
My only concern is that women do choose men who are not clavicular and choose men who are not King 6'8". They do choose men who can just don't be Russell Wilson, be Future. That's all I'm saying. Like have standards for yourself. They do choose some of these men. The problem is it creates this scenario, and I was actually talking to William Costello about this whole idea. Is that one of his complaints about red pill content in general is that if you take it to its ultimate conclusion, every moment you're not with your girl, some Chad is coming up and bending her over a table, and that is not the truth. Women are hypergamous, but there are ways for you as a man to show enough status and have enough boundaries and be secure enough to where she's not going to do that.
Funny.
It doesn't mean ever. It doesn't mean every dude, I don't care how much game you have, you can get cheated on. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there is a solution, and the solution is not to be 6'8" or to smash your face.
It's because guys who don't get really insecure.
Yes,
when they
but
hear
most
stuff
guys
about,
don't fuck. That's the problem.
When they, the 80%, right? When they hear and they experience and they see it 24/7 on social media, how hypergamy actually works. And I mean, if both sides of it, not just the alpha or the beta bucks, but the alpha side of it, right? When they see it live, push in their face 24/7, and it's not from the manosphere, it's from Call Her Daddy, it's from a million different women doing videos in TikTok videos in their cars.
Here's the clip. Call Her Daddy is now the new #1 manosphere podcast in the world. You heard it here first.
Yes, because everything on it is confirms. What happens is and I wrote an essay about this a long time ago, and the reason why Will Costello thinks that is because he hasn't read this one. I've got a post on the Rational Mail called "The Misconception About Hypergamy," and at the top of the list is hypergamy is not a straitjacket. Okay, so for the guys who think that there's always going to be a guy who's going to come in and swoop my woman. It's like, yeah, that's a possibility. But the thing is the older she gets, the less swoopable she becomes. The fatter she gets, the less swoopable she becomes. So if you get into a relationship with a woman and she's a 7 and you're a 7 and you're a parity right there, and suddenly you get to be 36 and now you're made partner in the law firm, you're going up. And she's coming down. Guess what? Hypergamy is not as big. It's not as big a deal as it was when you first met.
The problem is a man, if you're a 7, dating apps tell you that you're a 5, and the woman that you're dating that's a 7 is sure that she's a 9.
Yeah, they're all.
That's the problem.
Yes.
Here's the kicker.
Yeah,
I gotta burst the bubble.
Yeah,
Clavicular is his name. I mean, if people don't know by now, like he's clearly been planted.
Oh yeah, he's a product.
Yeah. You go through his history, you'll find out who he really is. And where he is right now is he's to be influencing a certain demographic of people to act a certain type of way. And if you look at the history of where men were going to be 30 years ago to now, it was going to be in different gender roles. Men are going to be acting like women. Women are going to be acting like men. We are in that current stage right now. The tables have turned. A guy like Clavicular feels like he can get on a stream and say that he all these girls and turn them down and all of this, and King 6'8" can say that I get a bunch of girls because I'm cute, but bro, nobody can. Well, actually, the one guy did get change his height from 5'8" to 6'2" or something like that. He got his shins extended or some. But it's like you can't just be 6'8" and all of a sudden get what he's getting. And I go back to Kevin Samuels because, I taught him everything he knows. And I'm with the new Kevin Samuels in this space because you have to be honest with everyone. You can't be afraid to, address the elephant in the room. And that elephant is that women aren't being shamed like they were before, to understand that if you're going to have tendencies and energy, you're going to be a hoe. And the guys that are afraid to step out and be who they are without having to compete trying to be like this guy or that guy, then you're not going to get right. But then, Robert Kraft knows the things about rubbing tugs. So you don't have to get no to get your shit off. Go get you a nice little Asian ling ling and get your ding ding ding, and you'd be good. But everybody wants this companionship, and I want a girl, and I want to have a relationship. That shit is over, man. Those days are over, and everybody's fighting for the same thing when you're seeing the evolution right in front of you. Everything is happening in real time. You can say call your daddy and all those things. These are just girls trying to tell girls to go be hoe. Go be a hoe. It's okay. But the guys are like, no, we want traditional women. We want, no, bro. Your ego wants that. Allow them to sit back and observe what's happening because they're going to come back like boomerangs.
Yeah.
That marketplace is not a survivable place.
That's exactly my point.
And you have to sit back and be like,
let a be a
man. And if she's a real woman, a lady, a real woman brought up by real women and all that kind of stuff, her ego is going to diminish in front of your face, and she's going to go back to what she knows as far as her survival instincts. I have to go find a good man, and I have to do whatever it is to be around him and survive around him. My morals and my integrity are going to change. But this is fun time. We have never been in a society where these options are now available. Like, people can do what the they want. You go on the internet and choose who you want. I talking to a girl from London and she's ready to move in. Like, that's London. I'm not in London. I'm talking from my WhatsApp. I can do what I want. She can do what she wants. She probably had 10 other guys that she was talking to. Before, it wasn't like that. Now it is. But the thing is not different at all is that women cannot survive on their own without having some type of guidance from the male perspective. It's always perspective. And the same thing goes with males. If you have a bunch of guys in a room and you're trying to do a certain thing and then your female comes in and she gives her perspective, we're going to be like, damn, I didn't look at it that way. One guy will be like, I did. We wasn't listening to you. She came in. She's sexy. She's hot. She said it. We're all paying attention. But now we look at the marketplace and it's all wide open where we can judge the girls and say they shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. They're going to do that anyway. The girl that cheats on you was the girl you never thought would cheat on you. I never thought you would do that to me. And she did it. And then you go to the next girl and you're like, you're protective now. And you're like, the last girl, stop being a little, being so insecure. I would never do that to you. And guess what she does? Does the same damn thing, but you trust her the same way. So why is it that you have to put up this wall of protection where this is what it is? Women are going to be women. We're going to be who we are. The space is wide open for everybody to have fun right now. We've always been restrictive of the romantic relationship, situational ship, whatever you want to call it. Everybody wants to be so traditional. It's not that anymore.
That's funny because I was just writing about this recently. It's like I'm generation. Well, you're Generation X too, a little bit. You're on this side of it, anyways. But Generation X, there has never you figure the sexual revolution happened right after 1965, right? Because the pill comes out, then you have the free love, Woodstock, the sexual revolution is really still kind of going on right now. And so you've got technically 5, but 4 generations since then. And I was thinking about this as growing up the way I did in Southern California, going through the 80s and everything. I've never known a time where there wasn't casual sex, or there wasn't you go and you meet a girl in the club and you can go home with that chick that night, right?
Yes.
Or in my 20s, that's damn near all I did, right? And it's but to me that was normal. I thought, well, everybody does this.
Yes.
To me, it's I'm well, of course, this is the way things are, right? And so, gradually obviously things changed since then up to where we're at right now with social media and everything, and technologically things have changed. But like, I thought about this and I go, you know what? Like my mother-in-law, who was, born long before the sexual revolution, like she never knew she knew a time before all of the I guess sexual permissiveness, I guess would be before abortion, before no fault divorce, before all the changes that came in the wake of the sexual revolution. And so for that generation that came right before the sexual revolution, and just the conditioning and the understanding of like your gender roles and stuff like that, it's like I think about those people and I go, damn, man, it must be a real culture shock for them. But like for me, I don't think about it. Like and maybe I should, because like you think about like back in like the mid 40s or the 30s or hell, even the teens, 1910, the World War I era. It's like the social condition was so much different back then. And now it's like I think the shit that we just take for granted, you still have this human element that's part of it, this evolved human element. Like your grandfather and your grandmother still want to get after it. They still, your great like back in the World War, right after the Roaring 20s, man, you want to go that flapper. You were, because guys were still guys and women were still women back then, and they still had the same machine and biology and everything. It's just the context of them getting together was different, and that's weird to me to think today. It's like, when I hear all these people who want like this traditional conservative thing, it's like they have this ideal, this romantic ideal in their head, and it comes from this time that they never lived in, and they never had any. It's like romanticized era that came before the sexual revolution, and they have no idea. Even if they could go back, they still wouldn't get it right. They wouldn't know what to do with it back then.
Storyline, sure.
I just think it's I think 100 years from now, people will look back at there'll still be digital copies of us talking on these shows, and they'll be like, what happened that caused the population collapse from 8 billion people down to 4 or 3? And they're going to be trying to describe it. It's because it's such a weird, it's like, this was the time period where there was a huge collapse between men and women not wanting to transact, number one, not wanting to get married, not wanting to get together, the number of sexless people increasing. And this is the time where artificial intelligence got right to the moment where we couldn't tell the difference between what was real and what wasn't. And we're going to look back 100 years from now and see this as this massive precipice for something where it's like, what were they thinking back then? Why in the world would they have done that? But I think it's going to be interesting looking back,
I love like every once in a while I'll see this on Twitter or something like that. They'll take some old footage of like when they first had like cameras, like movie cameras, and it's all black and white footage. But then they take it and they digitize it and they turn it high def and then they make it colorize it and stuff. And it's like Times Square in 1908 or something like that. And people are like walking by and you look at all the guys and they're all have like a suit and tie. Like every dude has a suit and tie on and they're walking around, unless they're a kid. And the kids even have like these jackets that look pretty difficult to put on. They got the little paperboy hat on and all this other shit. And they're looking at the camera and they're just like waving at the camera and everything like that. They had no idea that like now in 2025 we would still be like watching these guys and like,
years from now we see it.
I think I want to add to this too. Like, I think that the number one thing to get across now is that if we're going to talk about transactions, our society has become 100% transactional.
Thank you for bringing that up.
And when we talk about the transaction, it's always been a type of transaction from the beginning of time. I'm going to do this, you're going to do this. It may not have cost a certain thing, but there was a barter system for it. Now it costs. Love, they say love don't cost a thing. It costs everything that you want to put down on it. And when you talk about when you lose love, guess what you lose too? Cash. You lose everything. So the guy that's investing into love, sex, relationship, all of these things cost now. It costs to go on a date. I'm not talking about the cost of the date. I'm talking about I have to pay to go on a date with you. How? I have to pay to go on to, I have to pay to pay.
Have you seen these videos of these chicks who's like, here's what it costs to be a baddie? And they're like $114,000 a year, right? To get all the to get to this, it costs you $114,000.
And the fact that it's become so transactional that a woman can say they want to be baddies. without knowing what it is, because a man like me says a baddie is bad for business. You bring nothing to the table. You're shallow. You're a mannequin. So if it's going to be a transaction for a mannequin in a transactional society, everybody has to just get their money up. That's the difference. Like, you can't be broke. You can't be a normal, because if AI is going to take over certain jobs, it's going to give us all the opportunity to sit around and figure out how to get money the lazy way, so that we can participate in the transactional society. How much does it cost, baby? How much does it cost for this dinner? How much does it cost for that drink? Everything is included. Now I can get you, the drink, the weed, everything, the trip, the hotel, all included in one price, because it's all in your profile. This is what I get when I pay for this. So if we're going to move towards this society, I just think that men need to go to this pricing counter. When you go up to the counter and you're going to get what you get, make sure you got it in your wallet. Make sure you're dressed to the nines. Make sure you come prepared for the judgment, prepared for what comes after the payment, because it costs to be the boss now. And it's always cost before, but now it's up front. It's visible on social media. It's, if you're the boss, it costs. We expect you to pay. You got to drive the car, got to have the jewelry, you got to have the clothes. If you want to be regular, that's going to be your choice now. You are choosing not to get. You didn't. You said, I ain't into all of that. But you ain't into no, because that's the only way you're gonna get some. You want to get some, go get a chain. You ain't never wore no chain, but you better go to the mall, figure it out. We're gonna try one on. You ain't got no pills. You ain't got no rhino. What you talking about? You never had that, huh? You never did that, man. She said she want 45 minutes, not 45 seconds. That's a difference now.
There's that clip from that Chris Williamson video with Will Costello. One of the clips from that was Will Costello saying about how, women have such economic power right now. Like, why would they want to get with a guy who's not going to in some way at least match or improve their lifestyle, right? Like, they don't want to date guys because guys don't have money. They don't have, they're not like, they want to say, well, men aren't bringing anything to the table. And in a respect, I think you're probably right. But the thing is what happens is
their end of the contract is not as valuable.
Exactly. But the logic is this, is that if that woman can provide a better lifestyle for herself, what's her motivation? What's her incentive to date a guy who can't in some way improve her lifestyle because he has something better going on? The problem, of course, that comes with that is that those guys are few and far between, and they don't want to fuck you because you're probably fat, although you have a lot of money. It doesn't make any difference. But the thing is what they've done is they've commodified. They have turned into a transaction the entire romantic experience, the connection, right? The love and all this stuff that romance, love, intimacy, emotional intelligence, emotional investment, compassion, all of those stuff, all that stuff that, that women will say is it's so important. You'll read about it and it's love, love, love. It means nothing. It means from this context. I'm not personally saying it means nothing, but I'm saying, but from that context, if it's if the whole thing is a transaction, then guess what? All that bullshit about love this and love that means all, because you can't improve her lifestyle by 10%. So what's her motivation to get with you? Well, the motivation is you better look like this guy, and he better have a 10-inch. That's the motivation to get with this guy, because that's the only thing you've got that's going to improve for her life. That's
Stop what you're doing.
Yes.
Get off the podcast. It's all become that.
Man, get a dick pump, man.
Here we go. Last question I want to go over. Stefan Diggs was acquitted on felony strangulation and misdemeanor assault charges. There was the video that came out of his chef dancing. This is 24 hours after the alleged event, the alleged assault. Right after the alleged assault, she made him a hot dog. She then brought him a birthday gift to his room. Then she flew with him to New York. In New York, the video comes out where she's dancing the whole time. She doesn't tell anyone about the assault for 14 days. She goes straight to the Norfolk County Police Department. Then she proceeds to say under oath that she deleted text messages saying that she was going to destroy Stefan Diggs' life. She admits to deleting those text messages, and then she asks Stefan's legal team for $5.5 million. And the prosecutor, who, by the way, is not running for re-election after this, actually went to trial with all of that against him. And so my point by saying this is the system is in no way interested in protecting you if you're falsely accused. I'm not saying everyone's falsely accused. I think Stephon Diggs was probably falsely accused, but I don't know. So I'm sure it doesn't happen. But the other thing is I did some research on the statute, and that is you absolutely can be convicted based on the accuser's testimony alone with no additional evidence. You don't need to have photographs. You don't need to have medical records. You don't need to have any corroborating witnesses. Scotland, of all places, is the only place where you still do need to have a corroborating witness in order to be convicted of sexual assault. And I'm curious, what steps did you take in the NBA or now, or were there ever any close calls with someone you knew where there was an issue and they weren't able to protect themselves? And what do you think men should do to protect themselves?
I mean, discretion is everything. Due diligence is everything. Intuition is everything.
Yeah.
But the world is a crazy place right now.
Yeah.
Right? So if you can be blamed or allegedly accused of doing something that you know you didn't do based on someone's hatred for you because you didn't give them what they wanted.
Yeah.
When you say no to a woman, it does something to their balance. Like dodo birds.
Yeah.
And in this society right now, the dopamine is so high that they feel like if she did it, I can do it. What was the girl's name? Was it Amber Heard?
Yeah, Amber Heard with Johnny Depp.
At the highest level. One of the highest levels. You see it like, this is my word against your word.
Elon Musk had sex with that woman. That's the craziest part of this whole thing. Yeah.
My word against your word.
Yeah.
Johnny, who do you think they're going to believe? All right, so we're dealing with that in this particular space. So when you talk about what do we do as athletes to avoid these type of things, there's nothing you can do. You can't say I'm not going to have sex with girls. You can say I'm only going to date one race of women that I feel like would never do anything like this. It's probably Asian women. And then there's just, when you start saying no to people who want the most from you, or they expect things from you, or they feel like they're next in line and they feel like they should deserve some shine or some money, or they need this, they need that, they'll say anything. And I think that should scare a lot of guys that are on the rise, or they want a lot of attention and fame, and they feel like Andrew Tate was one of the guys. He got to a point, he rose to stardom. He was this guy before, always had money, but now you're talking about these things and you became this type of guy, and they went right after your ass. Same with Kevin Samuels. Same with Jordan Peterson, right? Went after him. They go after all the guys because you're disrupting the system. And if you can just say something to somebody and go to court and they like, you had to have done it because she said it. But it's not about truth at this point. It's about perception of my reputation. You've killed off my reputation now. My momentum for my fan base, my momentum for my salary and the money that I'm making, friends that I'm making, everybody's now, it's up in question because the truth has not been seen. But now you have to judge me based on my character. If you know me, you know I would never do anything like this. But the people who are on the outside that don't know you are like, we don't know if you did it or not. Right? So if it's the woman's word against the man has no chance.
My point is to film everything. Film everything. I have cameras in your car, everywhere. I've just filmed everything. One other thing I want to talk about this, because this is something that my clients have, I've asked them all about this. Have you all experienced this, where one of the most unstable women you've ever been with is some of the best sex you've ever had in your life? And they all say yes. And it's like, you're laughing because you probably
confirm.
have. And one of the issues is like a lot of times that's an indicator of borderline personality disorder, and borderline personality disorder, which Brittany Renner and Amber Heard have both been diagnosed with. In those situations, those are the women that then try to lie on you. Like I'm a Mavericks fan. What she's doing to PJ Washington makes me sick. And it's just so like, and I see PJ Washington just being extorted and leveraged because this crazy woman just wants to get money out of him. And then I watched the Amber Heard situation, clearly where she had made up a bunch of stuff, and then this situation right here with Stephon Diggs, and now it's just one of these issues where, as a man, it's very frightening that you can get put into these situations. The only solution I can come up with is social situations, having a lot of other women around, and cameras everywhere. That's the only thing that I can come up with that's probably able to protect you. But also, we're going to say this, and it's really hard to say this because it's really hard to do this. Stop putting your crazy. That's the other thing. And it's so hard because I'm not going to lie to you. It's some of the wildest, craziest nights of my life are with really unstable people. And women will complain. Women will talk the same thing about being in love with a drug addict or something like that. And so because of that, you romanticize the experience that you had. And the next thing you know, she's a completely different person the next day. And then she's blocked you. And then all of a sudden there's an accusation that came out of nowhere.
I would always also add to that, if you are in the UK, don't any British women. Period.
Especially if they're liberal.
Ever. Well, because they just passed this law. They literally just passed this law that it's the yes means yes.
That's the EU, the EU Congress.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
EU Congress.
And it's it's retroactive. So if she gave you consent, 5 years ago, and then today she's like, oh,
so I think,
you make that much money? I didn't give you consent back 5 years ago, and then now you're on the hook.
I think the way you
British women.
The way you solve that is every 3 pumps you say, do you still consent to this?
Is this good?
3 pumps.
How's it
Do
going?
you still consent to that? How are we doing? Are we doing okay?
You need me to pull out now because I'll pull out if everything's not.
Can I get another yes every 3 pumps? Let me get another yes.
I have
you
a
do
question.
That? Go ahead.
What regular guy has went to court for something like this?
Oh, it's not. Yeah, you're right. Maybe we don't know, but you're absolutely right. It's very rare that you see that kind of thing happen.
I mean, I'm just saying, like national.
I
national?
can think of a Chief Justice who actually had to go through that.
Yeah.
For what's this, Kavanaugh?
No. I'm talking about like an Uber driver. I'm talking about what guy is going through. I have to go to court, and she's trying to say that I did these things to her, and I know that I didn't. And I have nothing for her to take.
Well, it's not the Uber driver. Yeah, it's the guy.
So
it's the guy who just made $10 million in crypto. That's the guy.
I think the evidence is that when you get up and it has a lot to do with having like good too. Like you got to be able to bitch brains out. Like that's what drives them really cuckoo, is that you can do that and then say no and not come over and go another bitch. And we know crazy women that just go crazy over good. But then again, there's when you reach a certain stratosphere and you're a player or a high value guy or whatever it is not getting too high and thinking that you can do anything you want. You have now discretion and understanding that every step you take is going to be magnified towards them taking advantage of you and the opportunities that you get. So I love this space because I cannot with the type of crazy girls that have the expectation to want things at this level, because you can actually weed them out. You know who they are. And when you find out who they are, it's your decision to with them. You're making the decision. And at the end of the day, you're making a decision because she's probably fine. And you probably think she has some good. And if you already her and you think she has some good, go back to her and again, it's like, damn, man, she's so crazy, but damn, that pussy's so magnificent.
And that's what kept me involved. I was with a borderline personality disorder girlfriend for a long time. And that's exactly what.
And you can't avoid those things as a man unless you actually have you have the understanding to control your temptations. You have control. And a lot of guys don't have control, especially at that level. Like Stephon Diggs, he's fucking everything. Tyreek Hill's fucking everything. Everybody's fucking everything because it's like, oh, I like, but at some point, that one joint is going to lead to a lawsuit. That lawsuit was consensual from your perspective, but the fact that you didn't give her the $10,000 that she asked for, now it's a problem.
Yeah.
You look at 50 Cent, a girl asked him for $100K. He said, nah, man, and then dumped her. I mean, it's easy for her to say, man, 50 Cent's gay. I used to hit him with the dildo and whoop, whoop, whoop. Just because. What does he do? He has to defend himself now. He has to do all these things based on just you being mad that I didn't give you $100K because you're dating me. this is weird. So you have to like be able to be with yourself too. You have to have solitude. You have to practice being by yourself and not having the lustful temptation always chasing and thinking that has to rule your world, because when it does, it will rock your world too. And that's what guys are doing. They're out here letting rule the world to them instead of finding your purpose. Your purpose is not to follow. Your purpose is to have follow you. Period.
I like that.
Awesome, man.
Follows you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like one of the things I try to warn men about, there's a famous study that was done in Virginia in the 1970s and 80s. They looked at sexual assault convictions, and then they used DNA evidence and found that 11.6% of those men were falsely convicted. It may have been more. That was just from DNA. There's these numbers thrown around that false allegations is 2 to 10%. That 2% comes from an interview that happened in 1974 with a judge. 2% is not a real number. The number is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12%. That is the real number. And for those of you who don't think that's a big enough problem, that 1 in 13, 14, 15 accusations are false, that is a big problem. It's not most women, but there's enough of an issue to where, while I absolutely understand that women need to protect themselves from being abused or assaulted like this, it totally makes sense, and I'm totally in favor of that. It's not misogynistic for men to try to protect themselves as well,
Right.
And that's the main issue. And I really hate when people try to debate me on this, because it makes me so sad that you actually think that it's misogynistic for me to put cameras in my own home because I don't want to get a false accusation. It's some of the craziest things ever. Anyway, you're starting your own podcast? You got your own YouTube channel? What do you do? What's the plans for the future?
I'm trying not to get canceled, man. I'm trying to toe the line.
Okay.
I'm trying to toe the line
You
because
mean again? First time?
I would much rather join in on podcasts. Kind of creep in, try to give my perspective. See where the temperature is instead of just jump right on out there. But I have a website, there's a blog. I'm turning into a journalist for the sports side. It's called Raw with Rashad. Real, authentic, and wild. I break down a lot of sports commentary and a lot of the stuff they don't want to talk about. The poker stuff with Chauncey Billups.
Yeah.
And all the point shaving and all that kind of stuff, and different things, Mark Cuban and the Clippers thing with Kawhi Leonard, that kind of stuff. But I definitely,
The league really does not want you to talk about that.
No,
Yeah.
they don't. But sometimes you have to talk about the truth. You know what I'm saying? You got to just bring it. Let's have a real honest conversation about what's really going on, because sports is television, right? And people are thinking that it's not. The NBA is a television show. The salaries are not to athletes, they're to actors. These were actors paid. It's just like General Hospital. It's just like any other show that comes on for 2.5 hours for a season. We're in what season now? Like 80th season? And we go for 6 months with this season. Every game is an episode.
Yeah.
Today's episode, we got the Spurs. They're playing tonight. The script's in. Who's going to follow the script? So at some point, you got to feel out, where to toe the line, where to step across the line. So that's one. I do want to have a healthy dialogue about the relationship, like you guys are having.
For sure.
Having a doctorate in women and psychology, and being a clinical surgical expert with women, I think that I deserve to be in this space. I believe that I give a lot of perspective when it comes to this space. And I think that is something that I'm very passionate about, because I do want to mend the gap between the two, and understanding that there are men like me and men like you that understand that we are right here. We're together. There's no separation between us, but they want to separate us based on preference and appearance and all of those different things, where we can have different ideologies, but we still men and bitches.
Let's get canceled once and for all. Scott Foster, is he on the take or not?
Is he on the take?
Was he on the take?
I think so.
It's a very, very difficult case to make that he wasn't.
No, I just think that there is a group of guys that were part of all of that, and I think that Tim Donaghy took the fall.
Yeah. It's weird. They all come from the same county, isn't it?
I didn't know that.
All of those refs come from the same county. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. All right. Awesome, man. Thank you for joining us, man. I really appreciate it. Next time you're in town, please come by and see us again. Come on Access Vegas if you get a chance.
Well, I want you on Access Vegas.
I'm on there.
Yeah, we're going.
You will love every minute of that.
Beautiful. Hey, guys, thank you for joining us. A little bit different type of show today, but really, really great time. Got to talk about my two favorite subjects, which is basketball and intersexual dynamics. Thank you, guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you heard something that you really enjoyed in this, share it with your friends, and I will see you guys next week.